Hello you guys, welcome back to Lighthouse family. Today you guys, we are talking about how I gained my femininity back. It's two spirits that really took away my femininity, and it was the spirit of father and it was the spirit of homosexuality. If you want to hear more of my stories of how I've been exposing demons, how I've been telling my dark past of how I was so demonized and allowing demons to lead my life, make sure you guys check out the stories. So how we're going to start this story off is that we got to go back, of course. And my very first time actually having a relationship with a female was maybe when I was 12, 13 years old. And at that time, that was my very first time experiencing this, and that's how I caught the spirit of homosexuality. But the girls that I was doing it with was not girly girls. They were like studs, somewhere they had a masculine spirit amongst them. So I feel like I caught some of their flesh by doing these things with them, and it allowed me to be attached to those things. But then as years go along, I began to get attached to a lot of studism, I call it. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I began to it began to attract me to stud people. It began to want me to look at stud videos. I remember a time where I would watch this movie and I would be so engaged into this studism. It would be like she'd be dating girls, it'd be a drama show, and my eyes would just be so clean to it. And I did not understand, like, why am I so clean to this? It was at some point where I put the girl as my profile, I put her on my screensaver. It was like the actor that played in the movie, and she was a stud, and I was just so engaged into that. And then there was another moment that summer also, is when I began to look, it was like my femininity was fading. I was losing less interest into femininity, and I was gaining more interest into studism. So I began to wear stud earrings, I began to want to wear hats, I began to want to wear baggy clothes. I just began to want to look more like a boy instead of a girl. And I remember hearing the voice the very first time was like, I looked myself in the mirror and I looked like a boy, and it was like, yeah, you're better off looking this way anyways. And also around that time, I think I was a little younger around this time. I was in middle school, so I had to be probably 11 and 12 years old. My mother cutted my hair off. I don't blame her for it, because I know it was Spirit Father that was giving her the edge to do that, to not care for femininity, but just to cut all my hair off at some point. She cut it off bald before. She gave me a mohawk before. She just made me look like a little boy. And it made me just lose all interest at that time. And I didn't understand, because everybody would question my identity. It would be like, is you a boy or a girl? Because basically I looked like a boy, and it would really crush my heart, because I would be screaming and yelling and getting angry, because I'm like, I'm a girl, but as young kids, you look like a boy, so they're gonna call you a boy instead of a girl. And I would be so angry, not understanding why my mom was doing this to me. Why are you cutting my hair off? Why are you allowing me to look like a boy when I'm a girl? And it was the Spirit Father, of course, pushing her to do that. And it was sometimes where I just gave up on looking like a girl, and I just really started getting into very bad behavior of a man, a masculine spirit. So now I'm gonna get more into detail about when I first met my husband. When I first met my husband, I was not feminine at all. I would wear my work jacket with these jeans with a hat on my head, looking just like a boy. People probably confused. I probably confused them, thinking I was a boy the whole time. I was a girl under that cap. And when we first met, I just didn't look like a female at all. I remember the first time that he bought me this dress, and I just couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel it emotionally or nothing. I just literally took it off because I was too masculine in the brain. It was like my body wasn't masculine, but my mental was, and I couldn't wear nail polish. I couldn't wear dresses. I hated the color pink. I hated anything that had femininity on it, perfume, lotions. And I used to think that it was just a bad smell, or just more of a too much of a smell. But the whole time it's because that masculine spirit, that spirit of homosexuality was amongst me. And it took away my femininity for a very, very long time. I remember times where my husband would take me shopping, and I would go through the boy clothes. Instead of me going to the dresses or me going to the girl selections, I would go through the man clothes and look for jogging pants and t-shirts and shoes. And I just couldn't find my femininity. I didn't understand where it was. They truly snatched it away from me, because what their goal was in my life was to make me a homosexuality, for me to date girls and boys, but mostly look more like a male instead of a female. Since we are exposing, this spirit really took away a lot. So it took away my hygiene. Oh, you guys, it got so bad where I just would not shower for a week, just like a boy. Let's be honest, boys maybe don't shower for a week sometimes based on whatever they have to do. But I will stop taking baths. I will stop taking care of myself. I don't know if you guys knew me from the past, but I used to have bad skin before I was here, and it was very, very bad, and I really stopped taking care of it because I just began to not care anymore. And that's what the Spirit Father gave me. I don't know if you ever faced the Spirit Father before, but if you have, it's a I don't care part where you just don't care about certain things anymore. And the things you don't care about is the things that are important as a female, but he make you feel like they're less important. So when it came to my hygiene, it was a very long time where my pH balance was totally off. Like shaving, feminine lotions, none of that. And I just believed the thought that soap was bad for the private part, and I believed that, and I stopped using it for a very long time. And so naive. The one thing about the Spirit Father, he loved naive minds, because he know a naive mind can be controlled. And that's what I had. I had a very naive mind. Instead of researching it, looking it up, calling a doctor, I just believed what I heard and I ran with it. And it would be so many times where my husband would fight about my femininity, because he would want me to look like a female, but I didn't look like a female. I looked more like a male. So you guys probably wondering, like, what is this Spirit Father she's talking about? I'm not talking about the Spirit Father that you call in the church. No, we're talking about an actual spirit. This Spirit Father that I have been dealing with is a generational Spirit Father. So he runs the generation down the line. And it all started from my grandma. I don't know which one, but he had planted multiple seeds inside of the women of my generation to make them cut their hair off, to make them not to want to be married to a man, at least a godly man, to also make them go homosexuality, to start dating girls, also depression, sadness. It's just a cycle of the generational curse of just, if you think of a cult, that's kind of what Spirit Father is. If you think of a cult, and the cult is like he will cut his women hair off. He wants his women to be a specific way. In the cult, he will cut the women hair off, or he'll make them go blonde, or he'll make them wear short hair. They will all look the same. And that's how my generational bloodline is, and the women in my bloodline, is that we all looked at the same. Haircut, no man, or trashy man, or homosexuality. So some of my grandparents and family and girls over there didn't went gay if they already not gay. That's just the bloodline of how he wanted his women to be, and that's what he tried to do to me. So he also wanted my children. If you want to check that story out, it's also in the stories. I'm gonna probably put a photo up here for you guys if you want to check it out. He wanted my bloodline, and one thing he couldn't get to was mine, because I'm walking with Christ now, and Christ stopped it before it got too far. So this Spirit Father will come mostly throughout the months, summer months for me, because that's when I will mostly always get pregnant. And he will always try to put me, well, no, not try, he did put me in this depressed, sadness, hopeless, hatreds. One thing the Spirit Father carries is hatred. Oh my. He will make you hate your job. He made me hate my job. He made me hate my husband. He never made me hate my children. He almost tried to make me hate God, but I couldn't take it that far. He is a hatred spirit. That's how he gets you to do his bid. It's a hatred. He make you hate something. He make you hate something so you can get away from that and push into something else, push mostly into him. But he wanted my children, and he gets angry that he couldn't attach himself to my kids. And what the Spirit Father really wanted was to sell me off, which he did sell me off to a lot of different spirits. I believe he gave me the homosexuality spirit, but I mostly opened the door up to it. He just used it basically. And he used me to be a male instead of a female. He also was the spirit that led me down the hall to my predator's hall. He was the spirit that led me down to get molested at 7 and also get molested at 15. And he just was a generational, it all started with him basically. It all started with him. He was the very first spirit I heard, and that led me down to these dark paths that I have exposed. So now that you guys know the darkness of this side, we're going to get to the light side. How did I gain back my femininity? And of course, how I gained it back was by Jesus Christ and how he delivered me. And he took me from that spirit and he pushed the spirit away. And it wasn't easy, of course, because I had to break patterns. I have to stop doing the seeds that the spirit father in the homosexuality planted, and I had to do the seeds that God wanted me to do. So I had to get up when I didn't feel like it. I had to step into a dress. Even if I didn't feel the dress, I had to get used to wearing the dress. I also had to do more actions as a woman and not do depression or be more masculine. So at some point, I don't think I mentioned that I was a terrible kisser to my husband. It's because I didn't know how to do it. Even though he taught me, that's where you go. I had to learn. One thing about deliverance, when you get delivered, you have to learn the new things to do and not keep going into the same patterns that you was doing before, because clearly those patterns was bad and it was not from God, it was from the devil. So I had to create and sit down with my husband. We had to talk like, okay, how this is going to work. You have to get up and do it this way. We have to research. We have to figure out what fitted. We have to figure out what type of hair. We have to figure out what color fitted well, nails. We have to figure those things out. And then I had to step into it wholeheartedly and feel myself and not allow those thoughts to try to control me. Because one thing about deliverance, just because you're delivered doesn't mean that the spirit ain't gonna try to keep coming back. You have to rebuke those thoughts and keep pushing and remember that you are delivered, that you are clean, that you are beautiful, that you are a daughter of God and have called you to be a modest woman. So I had to get up and put action to it. So God wanted us to be feminine. He wanted us to have the quiet and gentle spirit, which is feminine. If you think about a feminine woman, she's not loud and rowdy and ratchet. She is a classy, she's quiet, she's gentle, she's loving, she's supportive. And that's what God wanted us to be. But sometimes the enemy snatched that part of us away so we can stay into darkness and not really walk out that light that God have called us to be as women. So that's the end of my story today, you guys. That's the end of my testimony of exposing and releasing. And I hope you guys make sure you check out the other videos. Make sure you leave a like and leave a comment if you're dealing with this type of spirit or even these type of seeds, because sometimes it's not the spirit, it's just the seeds that he planted and that we're still doing. So allow Jesus to renew your mind and restore you, and keep pushing, keep putting action on it, because you will get there. Because it took me time to get to where I am today. It didn't come overnight. I had to fight those thoughts and actions every day until I continue to do this. And if you are weak in this moment, pray to God to give you strength to get up and be the woman that he has called you to be. So make sure you guys leave a comment, like I said before. Check out our other videos, and I'll talk to you guys soon.